Welcome back, I'm Sam Crack, and let's talk about frame damage. When you hear the words frame damage, you're supposed to run away as far as possible. But when you're rebuilding cars, sometimes you get cars with minor frame damage that really doesn't affect the structure of a car. Now, in the following clip, I'm going to show you this 2007 Toyota Camry. It was in a front-end collision and suffered frame damage to one of its frame rails. Your front frame rails, in my opinion, are some of the most important structure of the car, and they're one of the first things to get hit in a front-end collision. Let's take a look at this car so you understand what I'm talking about.
This is a 2007 Toyota Camry. Looks like a pretty nice model with a lot of issues. So this car was obviously in a front-end collision, and the front frame rail right here is just toast. Okay, now this frame rail, luckily enough, connects here, so they can replace that, cut that, and weld on a new piece. But when you're buying a car with frame damage, you know, things like this here can get damaged. Things like that bracket could get damaged. Over here they're damaged. If you take a look, see, this is all damaged. You know, you can cut off pieces from what you would call a donor car and replace that. And replacing that's not a big deal, because while they are part of the structure of the vehicle, if you were to replace it in another crash, they're just going to get damaged again. Maybe they even snap off. But your main structure is right here. This is the front frame rail, the front main structure. The rear also has a main structure. And right here, see how this frame rail was not damaged in any way. Now, connecting the frame rail is this. It's called the crash bar sometimes, or it's called the front support. And a lot of times these get damaged in the accident. This one obviously was just hit on this side. Now, a insurance company would deem this car total loss, obviously because of the age, and it's probably got a lot of miles on it. However, if you wanted to properly repair this, if the insurance company was going to repair it, you'd have to take the entire motor up and cut the frame rail as far back as it goes, as well, at least as far back as there's damage. Now, you can't really see on this car, but in order to assess that, since it was crunched in, as we see, and that obviously someone heated it up and pulled it out as much as they could just to get an idea, they're going to likely, this is somebody's personal car, so they can do with it whatever they want, but right here, they're going to likely cut this and weld in a donor piece from another car they get at the junkyard. And they'll likely do the same here too. They'll likely cut all this and just weld in a new piece. But this is a good example of a frame rail that is completely trashed. And so when you're looking at cars used, you always want to open the hood and look down with a flashlight and look at the frame rails. That's the sort of concerning frame damage that will stray me away from buying a salvage car or a used car.
So, in the comment box below, tell me, do you think it's worth it to repair a car like this? Even if you only paid a couple $100. It's not that new of a car, but the parts are readily available, so they're fairly inexpensive. But it's going to require a lot of labor. My issue is that when it comes to frame damage, you can pretty much repair whatever you want and do a good job. The issue is it becomes very costly if you do it the right way. And when it comes to frame rails and frame damage, sometimes the repairs that are attempted are not the safest repairs, like bending them back in place if they're majorly bent or kinked. And that can compromise the rail even more, leaving you with a compromised piece of steel where a strong, solid support should be. You tell me, do you think it's worth it for you to repair this? If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. But either way, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next video.